There we go. I might be here. I might not. I don't know how this internet is going to work today. Let's see if, let me pull my screen up so I can see if it's even, it looks like it's kind of where, I don't know what's going on. Our whole neighborhood has been complaining about outages with AT&T today, so we'll see. It doesn't look like it's freezing yet. Oh, I've rebooted everything. It's the whole neighborhood is having AT&T issues today. So, and I reboot everything before we start just in case. I've made that mistake before. Seems like it's okay. Is it seeming okay on your guys' end? I'm not seeing it. I'm not getting any weird connection. We all remember what happened. What was it, like a month ago? 2 months ago? So yeah, seems okay. Well, surprises the heck out of me. So today I'm going to try something a little bit different on the digital painting, because I went back and watched some of them and I realized you really couldn't see what I was doing because you can't see where my cursor is, essentially, my brush. So I'm going to try leaving the cursor on. I know I've had people complain about the cursor being hard to watch the live streams when they were there, but because it's actually digital painting, maybe, well, let me know if you like it, don't like it. I can turn it off if I remember how I turned it on in the first place. So just let me know as we get going there. So my plan was to finish up during the week. I didn't get to it. The mushroom corals. Where is the screen? Let's actually pull this on so I can see you guys. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Nope. That was not it. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. So there's where we're at. I wanted to, and I may work on them tonight. I have a couple right here. These ones didn't get quite finished. Oh, itchy eye. So that we definitely need to finish up, whether it be tonight or I do it during the week, whatever. But I do want to get started on some zoas. And one of those zoas that I'm really excited to draw, it's one that I bought. I got it from Tidal Gardens. Hold on, I'll show you. Whoops, don't need that. This is one of mine. And these are tiny, like they're little, maybe a bit bigger than the end of an eraser or like the back end of a pencil, but they're small. They're adorable. And mine have grown. I'm looking at them over there going, mine are way bigger than that they've been in quarantine for the last 5 weeks. They're supposed to come out next week, but being that my whole reef tank is having some parasite issues, I don't know if I'll move these over yet. But anyway, I'm going to be doing the plan there is to add these guys because the color is gorgeous. We're going to add these into this bottom corner here. Oh, I'm kind of liking having this mouse. I can actually point at the screen now, which I was having trouble with before. So there we go. For anybody who is just looking for straight tutorials, that is what Patreon is for, just my pre-warning at the beginning of all of these demonstrations. This is an artist hangout where I get to hang out and answer your questions and chat with you guys about everything. Usually it has to do with my animals, your animals, someone's animals. I have a lot. I have a zoo. But this is where we are going to be. I just get to chat with you guys. If you've ever emailed me, you know I never get back to it. I'm just so behind on everything. So yeah, this is my time to get to spend it with you guys and hang out. If you are just looking for my straight lessons, I have them in multiple mediums: acrylics, oils, colored pencil, graphite, charcoal, Inktense, watercolor pencil. There's a lot. I've got a link in the video description. For as little as $4 a month, you get access to over 300 1 to 2 hour tutorials where I'm not rambling. They're just demonstrations. I mean, I'm talking, but not about animals and randomness. And I have a new one every single week, plus some other bonuses. Patreon.com/Lachri. You can see my video library over at Lachri.com. You can go on and head over to my website. Links are all in the video description. And now we are going to get started on this. That's enough of the plug. Okay, let's see. Let me pull up my zoas and put them in a location where I can see. NH Chicky said, can you talk a little, if possible, about making selections out of other images and stuff? What do you mean? Like how to put them together, or what specifically? My brain is not all here tonight, so you guys are going to have to talk like I'm a 4-year-old because I am so tired. Maybe a 3-year-old. Let's see. And make sure, too, if you do have a question, like what NH Chicky did there, if you do the @Lachri Fine Art, it'll highlight my name in orange, so I'm more likely to see your question. If I ignore you, it's just because I didn't see it. Okay. Gypsy Heart said, LOL, if your hubs is anything like my hubs, then you have a zoo. And then there's animals. Yeah, well, he's part of the zoo is his zoo. Yes. Just yes. The basics, I need more. Give me more there. My brain is not like thinking, I need a more specific question. Like the basics, what do you mean about adding, like, do you mean just combining different, like how to draw them, how to make them work? Are you talking lighting? Are you talking perspective? Like what, give me some specifics here. Because it's kind of like some questions, if they're too simple, it's almost like, hey, can you tell me how to draw a cat? I mean, I'm going to need something more specific. So I kind of feel like that here. More specific, please. Paul said, hi, Lisa. Do you like Lisa Frank? When I was like 8, I don't know. Are you supposed to like her still as an adult? I think that's like a kid thing. I used to love her stuff when I was a child. Plus, her name was Lisa, so I thought that was cool when I was a kid. Although when I was a kid, everyone's name was Lisa. So anyway, Gypsy Heart said, she may be meaning how you make a selection in the image to only work on that section. That's a layer. So yeah, and I think that's where I need a little bit more too. Do you mean like when you're doing a painting like on a canvas, making images work together? Do you mean layers in digital painting? Like I still need more. I'm still not quite there. I'm telling you, think of me as a 3-year-old tonight. I'm so tired. It has been the longest day. And I did accomplish a lot. Anyway, Paul said, are you named after her or just a namesake? Neither. My mom had no idea. I don't think she was a thing. And when was I born? 77. I don't think my mom knew who, like, that was a thing. And Chicky said, yes, Gypsy. So what did she say? Meaning how do you make a selection in the image to only work on that selection? Well, in that case, so then you're talking about layers. So that's what I have over here. If we look at like the mushroom layer, I'll just move this. I can just drag that. See how it's a different layer from underneath the detailing? I've got the soft fuzzy bottom, although one of those layers I messed up and got some detail on. And then there's the second layer, which are the lines. So they're literally 2 different layers that overlap each other. So depending on which one you're working on, like as I put that back, now all the detail is on top of that layer. So it's a layering process. So yes, I will talk more about that as we do this one. Then I'll kind of focus on that a bit more. And how I select stuff, if you can see, do I have it showing over here? Yeah. See off to the side here? Oh, I really like you guys I think it's going to be easier tonight because you can see my cursor. But see how I can just click on which layer I'm working on, and affect only that layer. So now that layer, to be fair, each layer is the entire image. So as I drag around like one layer, there's the detail stuff. Technically, if I were to draw over here, it's still a part of this layer if it's on that, like the layer's the whole thing, if that makes sense. Of course, on that layer, I'm only working on one little area, but yeah, so we'll talk about that because I'm going to be starting a new one. So, okay, that gives me a bit more thank you. See, talk to me like I'm a 3-year-old and I'll finally get what you're asking. But I'm really slow tonight. I'm going to have to say that so many times, I'm sure. So yeah, we'll talk about that. But I use a lot of layers now. Your computer and the program that you're using, or if you're using a tablet, will impact how many layers you can actually use. So let's say I'm working on my Samsung tablet. I think I've got like 10 layers before it starts flipping me off. So on my old, like if I were working on one of my older, either of my MSI computers, because these are both the gaming laptop and this one, they can handle a ton of layers. Like I've never hit a point where I had issues. But on my old computer, I used to have problems, or my other laptop wouldn't handle it at all. I'd get to like 4 levels and it starts freezing every time I do something. It's like too much information. The file's getting too big and I'm going to flip you off. So I get flipped off a lot by computer stuff. But anyway, it's very rude. So in this case, the reason that I'm able to have this many layers is because this specific computer can handle that. Now, what I do, let's say I'm working on a tablet and I want a bunch of layers, but I know the tablet can't handle it. What I'm going to do is finish a layer. So let's say any of these corals. Let's say this one here, I want to say I did 3 layers, 4 layers, 3 layers. What I can do is combine those layers. You merge all of those together and now that makes one layer once I'm done and I know I don't need to work on bottom layers anymore. So you can merge them if you do find that you're limited. Don't feel like when you're limited on layers, you're limited on the artwork you can produce. You're just going to focus on that area. When you're done, merge those layers. So now it's only one, and then work on another where you've got multiple layers. When you finish that next area, merge those so it's one. So there are ways you can get around that if your device is going to, like my tablet absolutely limits me. So hopefully Joseph, that's a good way to word it. It's like a pile of infinite glass panels and you paint on one while the one you want to appear closer. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Paul said, for me, I just use the 2 layers, really, the background and the foreground. That you can do that too. There's so many ways that you can make that work. Oh, and now she asked also, let's see, Gypsy Heart said, she said to me also how you select stuff, like a clipping. So, well, I'm not cutting anything out in this one, so that will go over when I do the next, when we design something next. You can go back and see how I've done that before. But usually I'm just using up here when I clip stuff, the polygonal lasso tool is usually how I cut stuff out, but that's not really what this is not a full Photoshop lesson, and I don't need it at all for this, so we're not going to really cover that today. That's a bit too like all the Photoshop things. Let's see, or group them under a folder. Yeah, people who are better than me and faster than me with Photoshop will do the folder thing. I'm very lazy and not fast at that. So, coffee. Okay. So, zoas. Now, when you draw anything, when you're working with anything in the ocean or anything that flies, do the same thing with birds. One of the things that you have to watch, like the photo that I'm using here, the photographer is going to take the photo. Came from I got the photo from the coral seller who sold me this coral, Tidal Gardens, who also, if you need coral photos for, what are you doing to my coral over there, crab? Sorry, I've got tanks in front of me that I end up watching them half the night, so there we go. But anyway, when you find photos, whether it be online of a fish or a coral, they're taken in a way to showcase that coral or that fish as much as possible. So most fish photos are side view. Most coral, you're just going to see as much of the coral as possible. And you want to make sure in your work that you're getting a little bit more varied perspective. Like if you're doing a lot of fish, make sure some are swimming away from you. Now, normally when we paint animals, we say make sure you get the eye or you didn't get the shot type thing, or when you're photographing them. Not really the case with fish. With fish, I've painted them where they're swimming away. You're just seeing fish butt. And it works. You want to get variation, because when you look at a tank, when you look at, like if you went scuba diving, fish are coming towards you away from every direction. So if you want to get that to look natural, and this is the same with the coral, we want to get some variation there. I don't want to just do circles and have it look like it's flat at the viewer. Yeah, great for the coral seller, not so much for you as an artist if you want to make something look natural. Now, in the case of these zoas, these guys are going to grow on rock, and they will change which direction they're going based on how the rock changes. That's it. They just kind of grow over whatever rock. Think of if you just took a rock, any rock, and had flowers, how they would grow and how they would change direction that they're angling at depending on where on that rock they're sitting. And that's what we're going to be doing here with these zoas. Okay, let's see. Gypsy Heart said, oh, well, and the good old naming of ye old files, the lazy way, final.jpg. Yeah, most of my prints in my computer are named, like where I'm like, I need a print of that deer that's on my wall, or a print of whatever I painted. And it's just titled print, or print good, print full, print big. And I've got so many titled that where I like print edited. That is not going to help me find that later. I'm so bad. Let's see. And Shiki, you know what that coral looks like? A virus magnified in a microscope. Yeah, they're very odd looking. You're right. Paul said, just learned that a goldfish is a sick one. Normally they appear gray or yellow gray. Huh? What goldfish? I learned that a goldfish is a sick one. Normally goldfish come in every color. It depends on the variety. You know what weirded me out? I didn't know this until my mom used to keep, oops, that's not the right thing. My mom used to keep goldfish, and nonstop. They only would last a couple, and they should last longer. Oh my gosh, hold on, heavens and dramas. They should last a lot longer, but she was having issues where they kept getting different growths was the big one, and then swim bladder issues. Turned out, and she didn't have a heater on the tank, goldfish are cold water fish. Like really, I found this out a few years ago. Like, if I had them in my house, in order to keep them the right temperature, I would probably need to have a chiller on them. Like they're that cold water. Like I didn't know that. They don't want. Okay, choose the right thing and things won't get broken again, Lisa. Yeah, kind of weird. I didn't know that, but they come in all colors. They're definitely gold ones, that's for sure, and healthy. Well, it's goldfish. How healthy is it? But yeah. Yeah, there are healthy goldfish, believe it or not. Shayna said, I just joined, had my sweet potato snacks ready until I look back and see my cat licking her lips. No snacks to be seen. Oh no. Okay, let's see. We're going to zoom way in on this so I can really, this is the other thing I really like with digital painting. This is one of the big, there's a few things I like more digital. Whoa, okay, I'm having some issues. Hold on, I'm going to have to close Photoshop all the way. I haven't changed anything, have I? No, we're just going to close this and open it again. Hold on one second. It occasionally will do that, and it's like I'll move, it just sometimes has some troubles. So we're going to go ahead and start that over again. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Come on. Okay, hopefully this guy handles life a little bit better. We'll see. But anyway, one of the things I like about digital, well, that was not one of the things I like about digital painting, but I love being able to zoom way in, and then when you shrink it back down for prints, it looks amazing. So I don't know how many zoas I want on this. Maybe I should shrink it back out just a bit while I decide which color goes where. I'm trying to think. I think I'm going to do kind of some kind of leafy guy here. Let's just do a quick sketch. I'm going to do a line sketch. Let's do a new layer. So here's where we come into layers. I'm just going to do a new layer. We're going to title this line sketch. We'll just do sketch for zoas and leafy something that I don't know the name of, but I can picture it. Paul said, I've learned so much with this PBS show. Like, blue is rare in nature. Blue is a reflected light. So, yeah, blue is, yes, I've heard that. But the goldfish thing that they just told you, BS. It's not true. They do come, well, maybe not in the wild, but we domesticated them to the extent that they do come in that color. Let's see. I hate that when you watch stuff on animals and you get all excited to watch it and then realize that whoever did the research didn't do the research or proper research. You're like, that's not true. That's just not true. You're making stuff up now. Why are you making stuff up? I guess that's TV in general though, isn't it? Let's go just to get some sketchy lines in here. I don't know if that's going to show up. Yeah, that'll show up. So I'm going to change my brush type. We're going to use a tiny little, too big. So we'll shrink that back down maybe to a 4. Yeah, that'll work for my lines. Now, the cool thing is this being what it is, or just being a layer, I just get rid of this layer when I'm done. Once I get everything kind of mapped out, that layer's gone. I just delete it. Let's see. And Cheeky said, I'm having so much fun with mine. Can't wait till I get better at Photoshop. Just paint and draw more is the biggest thing. I spent a lot of time thinking that I needed to be I needed to know how to do everything. And I would do too much, I don't say too much research, but I would try to research everything. And I found later on it was better if when I came across the problem, then research that problem. But when I tried to okay, I'm going to get a book and I'm going to read all of Photoshop, I wasn't learning. It didn't start making sense until I just jumped in. And then when I was like, oh, how do I crop something? How do I make a new layer? Whatever your question might be, just type that in Google, you get your answer and you learn. I find that I learned so much better that way. Speaking of MeWe, Nick, can somebody post this live stream over on MeWe? I totally forgot. My brain, see, I'm telling you, my brain is gone today. Worse than usual. Tara said, I was trying to take good photos of my dog and he tried to smile at it. Started to think he's a comedian trapped in a dog. I thought I'd share the funny. Oh my gosh. Share the photo. We want to see the photo. Let's see. Where's my photo? Oh, I need my photo of the actual zoas. Pull those off to the side. Okay. Now these guys, that's probably too big. Zoas are little, like really little, like I mentioned before. So I don't want to go too big on these. But see how I'll get some different angles there. We'll get some going long ways. I've got a few different colors. Now here's the cool thing with zoas. They come in pretty much any color you can possibly imagine. So if you're working on a painting and you're like, I really need red in this corner, I need orange in the corner, you can draw this shape of zoa and fill the colors in any way you want. Get creative and it's still going to look like a zoa because it probably exists somewhere. Like they're really odd in that. Most coral, you get some really interesting colors. So you can certainly take some artistic liberties. So I think that will be, I don't know what other, let's see. Maybe I'll switch to another Zoa. Let me pull one up. I'll show you. I pulled a couple earlier. These ones I really like. These are, what are they? Something, crap, I can't think of the name right now. Are those pink diamonds? Are something zippers? I don't remember the names at all. But let's add some extras with another color. So that'll stand out nicely, but they'll be the same shape. So we'll just go ahead and draw that in too. But I want to get some different colors just so it's not too big blob one thing. We'll have some kind of fade out, and then I'll have other corals in between there. So we'll go with that. Now I need to fill something in on top. Actually, I'll probably do the next layer under it. So we're going to, thank you, Nick. We're going to do another layer. Let's see. Tara said she'll put it onto the MeWe group. Good. We definitely need to see that. And Chiki said, you got to watch Z Frank 1. He does funny videos on animals, and it's hilarious. He did one sad cat diary video. Let's see. Gypsy Heart said, the Tidal Gardens photos of the different corals and stuff, are they all under natural light to showcase actual colors, or the thing under the different lighting that's in each tank? So the colors that he's showing, like the ones that I'm showing you there, these are actinics, and I don't remember which level, like what the number is, but that coral, like right now, it's under whites in my quarantine tank, and it looks nothing like that. It's more brown with kind of a rusty orange around the tip. So like in person, where this is that bright, or like under the blues, it's that bright orange, and the inside or the whatever. Those colors in person, it's more like rusty orange, like really muted orange, and kind of sage pale green on the center. It doesn't look like this under whites. Now I put it under, well, blues in that tank are blue in my other, and it looks back like this photo or closer to it. So yeah, the Tidal Gardens photos are all going to be under actinics, which are not what you're going to see in nature. However, who is going to buy our work usually? Who are the people who are most interested in marine work? Normally, it's going to be reef keepers. Most, not all, most reef keepers do use blues on their tank, and so this is what we're used to seeing, are those really bold, bright colors. Now, I wouldn't say that one way is right or wrong. You've got to consider what you're interested in. Me, as somebody who has kept reefs since, well, back then we didn't have blues, we had whites, but I've always gone with these much more bold colors. It's something that I like. Now there's another artist, and I forget her name, but she does all of her corals, and they're all what you would see in nature scuba diving. They're all brown, and it's stunning. So I'm not going to say one way is right or wrong. And one way, like the colors that are more muted might work better for somebody's house than what I'm painting. Someone is going to be like, I don't need a rainbow on my wall. That's a bit like you're being too bold with those colors. Where somebody's home decor may call for, and I know some people get all weird, like, I don't want my art to go with home decor. You do if you want to sell it. But somebody might like the more muted one. So you can play around both ways. I wouldn't say one way is right or wrong. It's 100% personal preference. But I will say I do feel like although I'm starting to see more and more people talk about liking more natural tones in the tanks. But if a lot of people, if their tank is more blues, then it makes sense. Those blue colors are going to be, accented nicely if they want paintings around that have that same type of color. So just some things to consider when you decide which colors you want to go with. But yes, going back to your original question with Tidal Gardens, those are all going to be taken under the blues where you get those fluorescent colors. Now let's say in this case, I wanted it to look more natural. Actually, I can just open this. Hold on, let me pull this one up in, where is it? Oh, it's not over here. Okay, that won't work. But I was going to say, you can just desaturate it, essentially desaturate it and make the colors a little bit warmer. That will typically give you a more natural look. So hope that kind of helps with that. Where are we? Oh, I'm glad the MeWe post got you, Mildred. Glad you're here. Cavium said, good evening. Finally managed to get my first retail job. Unfortunately, see, as king, I'm going to demand everyone work retail, so you are already ahead of the ball when I'm king. Unfortunately, I'll be missing your live sometimes. Oh, it's okay. As a king, I decree it is important everyone spend time working retail. Like, Everyone should have to do that. Hopefully I'll remember what I meant to ask you before you end tonight. Paul said, I love when the narrator became a part of the story midway through the book. I'm amazed. How about you? Wait, what book are you talking about? Let's scroll up. Did I miss something from you? I don't know. I'm sorry, Paul. I have no idea what you're talking about. I love when the narrator became apart from the story midway. What are you talking about, sir? Gypsy Heart said, so if we're going to try a mixture of photos, best to paint them how the photos are, then glaze a uniform color on tips and stuff to make them appear to be all in the same tank, right? No, you're overthinking that. That is, I don't think that that's necessary at all. I mean, you can do that to where you do everything in black and white if you wanted to, or, you know, the uniform color. But in this case, the way that I'm painting, why did this photo? Oh, it was a photo when I got my fish. Why did that just pop up? I don't need that. Go back. I hit a button and I'm like, what is that? Anyway, sorry, I'm easily confused tonight. No, I don't think you need to do that. You can, but in this case, usually when I paint coral, I don't typically do a monochromatic underpainting. I usually just jump in with, you know, I might do monochromatic on one coral at a time. I don't usually paint all of them. I just go one at a time and just keep adding from there. Although, you know, now that you mention it, that way might be easier. There's no right or wrong. You're going to hear me say that all the time, but there really isn't a right or wrong. That certainly is a valid way to work. I usually just pick a coral and then go from there. Yeah, either way, honestly. And that's the thing with these corals. They don't all look like they're in the same tank when they are in the same tank. It's a little bit different because, I mean, I'm looking over, geez, that coral. Got a leather over there that is poofier than I think I've ever seen him. Why are you happy? I just put Prezi Pro in there. You shouldn't be so happy. Anyway, moving on. Like when I look at that tank, I've got some zoas that are this weird, more rusty orange, and then right next to it, fluorescent green and blue ones. They don't look like they go together, but when you're doing things in a tank, it's a little bit like I don't feel like I have to follow the same rules that I would if I were painting an outdoor scene with flowers and bushes and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's just, do some searching online. Like just go and search reef tank and look at the photos that come up and you'll see what I mean. They don't look like it's very choppy. They don't look like they go together. And in the wild, it would be different though. So that's another thing. If you're trying to make it look more natural, I mean, usually in the wild, you're not going to have certain corals right up against each other because they'd sting each other and there would be issues. But in tanks, we shove them up next to each other in a way they wouldn't really be in the wild. So you get some variation there too. Paul said, my previous reply failed to send. Oh, that would explain it. But I read this book and I'm amazed at how the third person became a character midway through. What book? Wait, no, don't tell me, because what if it's something I end up reading and then I get confused, or not confused, it's ruined it for me. So maybe I don't want to know. Clark Piner said he is happy because he just got a shout out on the live stream. He's a famous coral now. Yeah, he's gorgeous. I love that coral. He's gorgeous. But I don't know why he looks like that right now. Oh, I need another layer. So going back to making new layers, so we just go new, drop that down, and there's a way, actually down here, there's a button down there, and I always forget what it is. Joseph will correct me. Joseph knows this stuff more than I do. What do we want to call this? Base for the zoas. And I'm making two sections of, well, do I want two sections or this just to be the one? I don't know yet. Yeah, Nick. Lisa loves spoilers. Mr. Although, I mean, it's not like you could have ruined Game of Thrones any more than Game of Thrones ruined Game of Thrones. But yeah. Nick is the master of spoilers. Axolotls are like Pokemon. Yeah, my husband was talking about that. He was saying the same thing. He didn't realize that it's the same animal. Or he thought when he saw photos of them that people were just like making it up or Photoshop. He didn't realize like that's a thing. He was all excited when he found that out. Okay, these ones have a really green center. So let's pull this down to green. I'm going to go a little bit lighter. I'll just hit the centers of these. Yeah, he's trying to talk. My husband is trying to talk me into, he likes the axolotls. I can never say it right. And he really wants a pufferfish. And he thinks he knows he can't, but he still keeps joking he can just throw one in my tank and it will eat my stuff. He cannot have a puffer fish. And I told him, like, you can have a puffer fish, but you've got to set up the tank and you have to take care of it. No, he wants me to do it so he can have a puffer fish. Like, you're not, there's one at the fish store that's been there forever and he loves that fish. So I'm like, nope. Plus, I don't think my husband would be able to handle really, like, he knows a lot about fish. He knows what I know, which isn't a lot really. Not even close to a lot, but he knows most of what I know. So he's not like total, has no idea, but he can't, I don't think he could ever really get into keeping fish seriously because he would cry. Like he's just would not handle the loss of a fish. Like, I get depressed. He would be too upset, especially a puffer. They're like dogs. So that's why I don't want him to have one, because I don't think he could handle if something happened to it. And fish, just, there's so much that goes wrong. Like, I ask myself regularly lately, why am I doing this to myself? Like, that is my current mantra. So we'll get the center. I guess all of these are going to be that one. I was going to have these fade out into the other Zoa color, but whatever. We'll just do all these like this. And then they've got the blue on the outer edge. It's kind of a bluish purple, so we'll do that next. I'm going to drop this down. We'll get a bluish purple. Let's see. Actually, it's kind of both. We go to almost a turquoise, and then there's purple on top of it. So it's actually closer to down here, which is pretty close to what is there already. But we'll do it anyway. That way we can kind of clean it up too. And these are going, I'm going to zoom in a bit because these, we want this to be a little bit blotchy. Let's see. Paul said, for me, I once brought a fridge inside my room, upgraded my internet speed, and I'll never see the sun. I've never seen the sun since. He must be a video gamer. So I had a friend. Am I having one soon? What? Where are we? Hold on. Gypsy Heart said, speaking of books, are you still working through Wheel of Time, or have you broke off for the Oath Broken? Well, yeah. So I was working on the orangutan in acrylics last week. I need this to be darker. And the book ended. I finished the Wheel of Time and I was like, oh, I want to listen to the other one, but I would have had to come in here and get it. And I haven't like downloaded it yet. So I started the next Wheel of Time book. So I'm still technically on that, but no, so I still need to read the other one. It's soon. Let's see. Joseph says, spoiler alert, in the end, it was Nick all along. Mm-hmm. Are you having one soon? I don't think some of your, the axolotls. No, I'm not getting one. I don't need more animals. Like right now, so much time is going into between the reef tank, the frogs, because I've got the 3 quarantine tanks. It's a lot to clean. Well, it's a lot to clean those tanks. Once I get everyone into vivariums, it won't be as bad. Although I don't think Purple Frog will make it into one, but I think he's going to be in a hospital tank. We'll see. We'll see how he does. But anyway, it's a lot of work that I put into what I already have, like the reef tank right now, because those fish have been sick. So they look great right now. They're doing well. That could change in 5 minutes, you never know. But I've been treating for a couple of different parasites. I have either ick or maybe velvet. I don't know. And definitely gill fluke. So the new ones came in with that, and I'm treating them for that. Luckily, both those things can sort of be treated in the tank. I mean, I'm trying hydrogen peroxide, which can